Brett Perigo, tonight's second place finisher. Plenty of fans here, Brett, and a solid second place finish.
Yeah, I got to shout out the Turn 2 Terribles over there. They're all a bunch of good guys to hang out with, talk to. I really like them.
How are you doing tonight, man?
Hey, I'm talking here. You know who you're talking to? Macho Man! I'm on my way to Monday Night Raw.
How do I want to answer the second one?
Your choice.
It's a trap.
I feel like it is. I feel like he's setting up fights in the front stretch is what he's trying to do.
Speedway. Got Devin Gordon with us
at Keen Motorsports Shop here with Kyle Keen.
Sitting here with Sean Keen. We're going to talk a little bit about racing history.
Yep.
Monday, September 8th, 2025. What's going on? I am Jimmy here with Jay-Z. We are the Turn 2 Terribles. I hope everybody's doing wonderful on this Monday evening. Chris is supposed to join us. He said he was going to be here, so he might pop in later. But we see you guys in the chat. Santos, Steph, Randy, Marie, Matt, Daniel, Mandy. What's going on, everybody? Thank you guys for tuning in as always. We got 2 weeks of racing to cover, a lot to go over. You know, we didn't have a show last week because we were at Port Royal for the Labor Day Classic, and lots of racing has happened since the last time we were on. We had the Zemitis Tribute at Williamsgrove, we had the Labor Day Duels at Lincoln, and then we had the entire Fair Week, all 5 races at Port Royal. So we're going to go over those. We're also going to take a look ahead. We're going to take a look at the Port Royal points and the Port Royal season as a whole as well, and much more. As always, we want to hear what you guys have to say in the chat, your opinions, your questions, your comments. That's what keeps this thing going and makes it fun. Jay-Z, man, how are you doing tonight?
I feel like I'm rested and recovered from the weekend. I didn't party nearly as hard as some of you young kids, but definitely had my lack of sleep like everyone else, and miles and miles of walking. So I'm ready to go for the week and what's to come to finish out the season.
Yeah, it's winding down here. Now that Port's done, and you know we still got a couple big ones left, but it's really starting to wind down now. So let's jump right into it since we got so much to cover. We're gonna start at Williamsgrove 2 Fridays ago for the Zemitis Tribute race. Friday night of Labor Day weekend, where Anthony Macri picked up the win over Danny Dietrich, Chase Dietz, Troy Wagaman Jr., Parker Price Miller, Brock Zierfoss, Austin Bishop, Freddie Raymer, Logan Rumsey, and Ryan Newton. Your top 10, your heat race winners were Parker Price Miller, Chase Dietz, and Troy Wagaman. Your quick time for the night was Cam Smith, and your hard charger was Anthony Macri, who won. He went +5 in this one. What were your thoughts from this one? Anthony Macri taking care of business as he usually does in a decent race here at Williamsgrove.
I kind of forget this thing already. Feels like it's been
Yeah.
so long ago.
It does.
Yeah, Macri did his job. Austin Bishop with a great top 10, Logan Rumsey, in ninth, Ryan Newton in 10th, which we're going to talk a lot about Ryan, I'm sure, here coming. But yeah, I mean, look at your top 3, 4, 5. Really, I mean, Macri, Dietrich, Dietz, Wagaman, and then Freddie in eighth. That's your Williams Grove sort of story, with a few others mixed in, right? Parker Price Miller was in town, Brock with a good run. Um, you know, Macri did his job, got the job done.
The knee-jerk reaction after this race was race of the year because we had a 3-wide battle for about 2 laps for the lead. It was a good one. They were going through lap traffic between Dietz, Danny, and Macri. It was a pretty good one. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Macri just took care of business, did what he needed to do. I don't think there's much else to say. I think it was a pretty good race. It's like Santos says, the only one who ran the top the right way was the way he did it on Friday night. But yeah, it was a good battle towards the end. It was exciting. I watched this, on Dirt Vision, so wasn't there. But yeah, just good for Macri.
I mean, he kind of talked in the interview, he just did what he had to do. He didn't really want to really run the top there in 1 and 2, but he was like, it's my shot to do this. And, got the job done. Car was good enough, and obviously he's good enough. So, yeah, good for him. The start of, it really looked like the start of a big Anthony Macri week, right? Coming up.
It
Which we'll get into even more of that. But yeah, good start to the long week for him.
Shout out Logan Rumsey here with a top 10. Looking better and better every time he rolls out in a 410, and then like you said, Ryan Newton, somebody that we're going to probably talk about here in a little bit when we get to Port, especially, just with some awesome runs that he's been having. But yeah, this is the who's who of Williams Grove right here with the addition of Parker Price Miller. Let's roll into Lincoln, because there was some drama on Saturday night of the Labor Day Duels. Just ended up being the Kevin Gobrecht Memorial, the first night of the Labor Day Duels. This is a hell of a race. Some drama, of course, as always, surrounding Anthony Macri and Ashton Torgerson, but it ends up being Aaron Bollinger who comes out with the win here over Danny Dietrich, Logan Rumsey with a podium finish, Chase Steeps, Troy Wagaman Jr., Cam Smith, Dylan Norris, Matt Campbell, Freddie Raymer, and Brandon Raymond, your top 10. Your heat race winners were Logan Rumsey, Ashton Torgerson, Danny Dietrich, and Cam Smith. Your quick time overall was Anthony Macri, and your hard charger was Kyle Moody, who went +9 up 21st to 12th. The drama here was, Anthony Macri and Torgerson racing pretty hard for the lead. Some people felt like Torgerson fed Macri right rear. Some people said it was just typical hard Lincoln racing that took Macri out of contention here. And then Torgerson crosses the line first, but ends up being light at the scales. From your viewpoint, you were there. How did this one all go down?
Well, I wasn't there, but I was all Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
But I watched the replay back, and honestly, it was Alpha Turn 2, but it looked very, very reminiscent of the week before when Chase and Freddie kind of all four. It was just tight, hard, close racing, and it is what it is. I think the only people kind of pissed are the 39 fans, to be honest with you, because it took him out of the chance to win the race. And, the 1A kind of did what he had to do there, and some people sent me, some replays of Chase doing this to the 1A. This is what it is. This is what Lincoln is when it's kind of in like peak form. It's hopefully slick across to a curb, and you gotta, I think if this happened for 9th place, I think it's a little more like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's a little not the right timing. Maybe he made a mistake.
For the lead.
But this is for the lead for the win.
Yeah.
I think this was. I've certainly seen dirty, and I don't think this was it.
I agree. I think it was a little late to shut the door, but he tried to leave him room. But you got to race him tight. Macri made a decision, and Macri decided to keep it up top, and not back out of it, which I don't blame him for that either. You know what I mean? And just got just enough over the cushion there and into the I don't know if he actually hit the outside wall or if he just spun. I think he just spun, but it was tight. You know what I mean? And you know, a lot of people here in the comments saying, "Hey, the 1A hacked him." You know what I mean? And you know, hey, Santos says karma, sweet karma. I absolutely love seeing the 1A get the DQ. But then Steph says here, Macri said at one point it was his own fault and Ashton had no reason to apologize. And I just think it's a product of car racing. I don't think it was anything dirty. Like I said, to me it looked like Ashton tried to leave a lane, but he was going to make him choose. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't just going to go clear him out, is my point. And I just think it was hard racing for the win there. I don't think it was too dirty. You know, it is what it is. What ends up happening here, 13 pounds light at the scales at a 1A. That's not just, oh, I'm light on fuel. Like, that's a significant amount to be off. It doesn't sound like that much, but it's from what everybody keeps saying, it sounds like it's a really significant amount to really be off that much. That's not fuel, you know? So that's something that they're going to have to get figured out because that's not the first time that 1A's been light.
Agreed on all counts. Congrats to Aaron Bollinger taking home the win. Danny, P2, Logan Rumsey puts him on the podium. I'm telling you, he's getting closer and closer and closer. This kid's going to pick off a win next year. Maybe I'll save it for my bold takes for 2025, but
yeah,
you know, just good rundown here. Good car count. You know, good. There was mid 30s, I want to say, showed up for this race. So good deal for Lincoln there for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Santos 1A sent a slider from 4 car lengths back and hit right rear to left rear. Absolutely fed him. Once again, I love Carmen. I don't see it that way, but I get it.
That was not being fed a right rear, Mr. Santos. We'll agree to disagree on that one, my friend.
But yeah,
great. It's hard Lincoln racing. If you want it to be clean, we're all going to be bored, and the attendance will continue to drop. We need this kind of stuff to be happening a little bit. Not like on purpose, but we need good, hard, close, short track racing. We don't see it many other places around here. We do it at Lincoln Speedway.
Yeah. Ashton took a big shit before the feature. 13 pounds is about 2 gallons. Okay, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's more than just fuel. But I mean, 2 gallons. I don't know. I mean, that's just
doesn't matter. You cannot be light at the scales after a race, no matter what's left in your fuel tank.
Yeah,
right. I mean, I guess maybe some drivers need to chime in on how they weigh their cars to know they're not going to be light at the scales. I mean, it can't be by a bad math calculation on fuel left, right? I mean,
right.
Or am I missing something?
I don't
drivers
think you
need to chime in.
I agree. I don't think you should be. If that was me, I wouldn't be relying on fuel to make my car make weight. I don't know, but
I mean, I know that they got to cut it close, but
13
pounds,
yeah.
I mean, 2 gallons. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it's 13 pounds. That means that car dry with the driver, or no driver. Like it's. I mean, again, it's not.
You're already close.
So
yeah.
It just starts to feel like it's not a mistake, you know? It's just pushing the edge and went too far, I guess. I don't know.
Steph says, I felt like Bollinger was happy he won, but that's not how he wanted to win. No, but I mean, hey, he'll take it any way you can cut it. And it was a big win. That was $10,000 to win. That was a big win, you know, for a car that's been running decent, you know, at Lincoln, but kind of been a little up and down. You know, definitely one of the faster cars, but hasn't necessarily been getting, you know, the wins maybe that we expected. But this is just a good, solid win, good, solid run for him against a really, really good, tough field.
This was, I don't know if anybody listening, if you listen to Jeremy Elliott's post-race interviews, I try to catch them every week of who he does get, where he's at. And he talked to Aaron, and this was big for their team. You know, financially, $10,000 for some teams may not be like a lot, but that is huge boost for that team to hopefully continue on and into the rest of the season and next year. So, it won't get them very far next year, but hopefully that keeps this car around because, you know, they're doing it with a little, that's for sure. So He was definitely thankful for that part of it. He definitely, maybe he didn't want to win it that way, but he's not going to apologize at the bank. That's for sure.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And, you know, you got to put yourself in position, you know what I mean? And he put himself in position to be there. And you have to be fast to do that. So yeah, Saturday night, great, fantastic racing throughout the evening there at Lincoln. And we go to Sunday, the second night of the Labor Day Duels. where Chase Dietz gets the win over Ashton Torgerson, who redeems himself with a P2. Freddie Raymer, Danny Dietrich, Ryan Smith, Aaron Bollinger, Ryan Newton, Anthony Macri, Brady Bacon, and Cam Smith, your top 10. The heat race winners were Chase Dietz, Torgerson, and Danny Dietrich. Your quick time going to Freddie Raymer. And Tyler Ross, your hard charger, +7, where he finished 13th, 20th to 13th. But Chase Dietz here pretty much ran away with this. I felt like he started on the pole, ran a great race. Track wasn't perfect. There was people talking about the track, but did what they could after on the second day on the back-to-back of a 2-day event. And Chase was just he's been really, really good at Lincoln this year. Especially ever since he got into the 23. But he's always been pretty good at Lincoln, obviously, but especially in this 23. He's a threat to go anywhere to win, but Lincoln's been probably his best, and he took care of business here and got the win.
I was here for this one, Jimmy. I always appreciate you walking the line of like you're the nice guy, and I love that. This was awful, start to finish. I mean, honestly, from the first hot lap session, we were like, oh no. As just watching, like, oh boy, I'm getting hit with dust and rocks in hot laps. Like that doesn't happen, right? So, this was a track prep nightmare all the way around. I heard there was broken equipment. Lincoln doesn't do a lot of back-to-back days. I talked to Fred, and with whatever equipment he did have working, he could not get it to take water. He tried to dig it up and tear it up and get water in it. It ran off. And I believe that because when I walked around along the inside guardrail around the racetrack, there was mud. All the water ran off the racetrack. It didn't get into the clay. Just not good all around. Just a bad day to have a bad day from a track prep standpoint. We've talked many, many times, about Danny and his social media posts, and right or wrong, sometimes it's just not the right thing. And honestly, he wasn't wrong this time, and he hit it right. It was a bad day to have a bad day. The world was kind of watching in the sprint car world a little bit, and they were the only kind of show in town at the moment at that night, and it was a bad night to have a bad night. Fred, I even saw that in criticisms about tearing up the racetrack during intermission and really tearing it up. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Okay, we already have it bad. Do you want to just leave it go? And then we're just going to complain that we left it go? But no, we're going to complain that it was bad, and we're going to complain that we took the time to dig it up and at least try. I mean, it couldn't have gotten any worse by trying to do this. And honestly, it gave the front, the leaders were running the middle and the top at the beginning, and it faded down, and it took rubber back. The rubber came back, and it ended up where it ended up. But they didn't. The first about 12, it was a 35 lap feature, and my guess was about halfway, about lap 17, 18, and about lap 12, there was a caution at lap 8, I want to say, and between laps 10 and 15, it really started. You could see guys starting to move. It was a train then after about halfway. So, but the part that he tore up and made good, the guys were running, everybody was really fast. So it was like they weren't on the bottom, but they were all running the same line until it got used up. So I think this was a perfect storm of a lot of bad things that happened, and and I'm not going to take any shots negatively at personal or anything like that. But it was a bad day to have a bad day from a track prep standpoint to put on a good show. Same thing here though. Chase isn't going to apologize, cashing a check at the bank. He did his job, and it was his race to lose from the lead there. So sucks. And then so to give some insight, Troy Wagaman, who was tied for hard charger, had to come up through the B. He used up a brand new set of rear tires in the B. 10 laps, gone, junk. 10 laps. So there was rubber down before that even, but 10 laps you burn off $600+ in tires in 10 laps. So
right.
It was just not good all around. 358s were, again, it was pretty bad. I mean, honestly, that race wasn't bad because the leader who got to the lead, who ended up winning, didn't have a very good running car for a minute, and they were like all over him, and it almost made it chaotic. But everybody in both divisions just spent a whole bunch of money in tires. Carberry won, Adam Carberry.
Yes.
So, he did his job as well, got to the lead and got going. But man, tens of thousands of dollars in tires were used up Sunday.
That is
It's
tough.
unfortunate, and it's
And
unfortunate.
you know, not that it was a bad car count, but I mean, 27 cars on Sunday, the only race in town. I mean, obviously, it's a part of a really long week, especially when you had. We forgot to talk about Babs. We didn't talk about Babs, did we?
Wait, when
That's
was
so
that?
long ago. That was the Wednesday.
The Wednesday before?
That
Yeah,
was the Wednesday
before Labor Day.
Yeah. So we didn't talk about
Going
that.
into Labor Day.
So I totally forgot about that. That's how long ago it feels like. But we didn't talk about that since the last show. We just talked about it getting rescheduled. We never talked about the race, I don't think, but maybe we did. I don't know. Anyway, but the point is that there was a lot of races in a lot of days, and bad day to have bad day. That's true. You're just gonna have to chalk it up to. Hopefully, they learn from it. It sounded like Fred did everything he thought was right. Knowing the track as well as he does to try to make it right, but maybe just weather conditions and just the conditions of everything just added up and tough. This is one of those days for race teams where they're like, race, the racing's expensive, man. Like, the tires going up and if tires weren't as expensive, maybe you wouldn't feel as awful about this, but.
Yeah, I mean, the teams complain about the cost of racing on a night they don't burn up tires.
Right.
Imagine,
that's kind of what I was getting at.
Imagine what I heard standing there all night from everybody that's involved with anybody, right? Like, nobody won. Chase Dietz, they can say they walked home with 10 grand, but they burnt, $2,000 in tires, right? So plus the cost of being there. So it sucks. It just sucks all around. And it doesn't happen often at Lincoln. I will tell you this, that nobody gets a pass necessarily, but Lincoln gets it way more right than they ever get it wrong. So from a track prep standpoint, it doesn't make this go away that it's ignored, but I'm not going to just be like, never. Yeah, it was right. It's just, it's not that. Yeah. And it was, I mean, some of the shit that was getting thrown around was just way too much, right? That's racing, it's competition.
Knee-jerk reaction, yeah. And going back and looking at this later, it's just like, man, that sucked. Like, it's not normal though, like you said, for Lincoln. Lincoln has put on banger races this year.
Yeah, and you know what? Let's move on. I don't want to.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
Do want just to get to a couple comments here.
Sure.
Isaac here said hot laps we used up a left rear pretty good. He works on the 23. Tyler says luckily they were good on time and started the hour intermission to work the track at like 8:30, so it wasn't that late, which is that was a good thing. That's a positive. They didn't screw around, which is something that you will hear about with any track as well. And Santos also says, also got to give a shout out to the 2D boys for letting me hang out in the pits and learn a lot to help me get started on my pit crew journey. So, over there helping out the Givler team and everything and the Org 2D. And so that's pretty cool to see Santos getting his hands dirty a little bit. And then Tyler says 358 feature got cut from 25 to 20 laps. Every 358 team burned off at least 2 tires. Some teams burnt off 3 to 6 tires. So it's not what you want to hear, especially for 358s, which that's even worse when it comes to payout and the cost of running those cars. So, all right, let's move on. Fair Week, Port Royal. And Saturday night, what a freaking race. Williamsgrove, I said this, that was coming from me, but, Williamsgrove had a great race on Friday night. Everybody was saying race of the year. Port Royal heard it and said, hold my damn beer. Because this race was awesome. Dylan Sisney getting the win over Blaine Heimbach. Ryan Newton, your hard charger, going from 16th to 3rd. Brock Zierfoss, TJ Stutz, Logan Wagner, Michael Walter, Parker Price Miller, Justin Whittle, and Gerard McIntyre, your top 10. The story here, Dylan Sisney getting a win back in Victory Lane. That was only his second night in that 27S. Ryan Newton looked like the fastest car. He was ripping the top as good as anybody rips the top there. It looked like, prime Brock that back in the day when Macri runs it, when Logan Wagner, like those guys when they're running the top, better than anybody else. It's kind of what Ryan Newton looked like. It was awesome. And it was all the way up to P2, fell back on a late restart. Blaine Heimbach, amazing run as well. And then I believe it was Michael Walter and Logan and TJ Stutz were also in the picture at one point. Top 5 was kind of like under a blanket. Brock Zierfoss, Logan Wagner, and Justin Whittle and Parker Pressmiller kind of made late charges up at the end. But Dylan Cisney, awesome win. Racing was great all night. It was a great way to kick off Fair Week. They had the big super late model race as well. But man, it was that top 3 specifically, I was super impressed and super happy for. All 3 of them great runs. They were all winners in my book, even though there's only one.
Yeah, so Ryan Newton, man, and we were, like I said, we were going to end up getting into this here. Eric Prutzman, right, former KKM or KKR crew chief, is home. He's back here at home a little. He's helping this 66, and they really started to hit on something. And they did a little bit of traveling. They went up to Lernerville. They went to Mercer, I want to say, and they ran up front. They came back, and boom, they're still fast here. And Ryan's driving with confidence, and Ryan is staying through the entire U.S. Run to the end. He's going to miss a lot of actually his season in Australia.
Oh, wow.
When he gets home, he's going to take a little vacation, take a little break, and then get back and finish up the season over there. But he's actually he's more U.S. based than Australian based this year and running at all. Last year, he ran out of some equipment, went home in late August, I want to say, and he'll end up about 50 races done here in the U.S. And this is a little bit of what you're starting to see race in and race out with that 66 team. And and listen, I think a lot of people don't know Ryan that well. He's 21. Yeah, he's been racing over here now for a couple years. And man, what a show he put on getting up to the front here.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Dylan Cisney, by the way, my guy. You're not supposed to win night races. You're supposed to win Monday. You're supposed to win on Labor Day.
No daytime Cisney.
Couldn't. Yeah, not saying you couldn't win one Monday. Couldn't have won Monday. But like, man, you're killing me. Hey, congratulations to Dylan Cisney. I know he was pumped, so that was cool.
Yeah, this was just an awesome race from beginning to end. I was there for this one. It was awesome. Just, I don't know. Just it felt like Prime Port. The track was fantastic, and you had guys running bottom, middle, and then if you can run that top fast like Ryan Newton was, you could pass a lot of cars. But just fantastic race. Great way to start off Fair Week. Beautiful weather. It was perfect night there at the Speed Palace. The super late model winner there was Greg Satterley. So it was a pretty. They had a whole thing and where they lined up on the front stretch and got did driver introductions and stuff like that, and then Satterley had I think he then ran Sunday at Selinsgrove and had the was automatically locked in. Monday, Labor Day Classic. This was, if you would have said between Sunday and Monday, you figured this was going to be, and it did rubber up towards the end, don't get me wrong.
Oh, I think we lost Jimmy. Again, we did this last week. I thought he was having a stroke and just froze there. Yeah, he'll be back, or we're shutting this down. I don't know. Maybe we're done for the night. His internet hates him. Yeah, Brock Zierfoss steals this from PPM. This was this was cool. With a couple to go, I didn't think he had a shot at PPM, and just kind of the way the restarts were there at the end, he couldn't seem to get this thing kind of rolling and done. And coming to the white flag, basically. Come to the white flag. Brock was there and threw it in to the inside on lap. Oh, jumping by myself. He is gone. So, coming to the white flag, Brock got a hell of a run. I had to go back and watch the replay on how he did it, and good run off 2, down into 3 and 4 into 71, just sort of missed the rubber. and bam, there was Brock, and he did his job, got the lead, and was gone. And man, was he pumped up in victory lane. This had to be wow, like a talk about a weight lifted off your shoulders, for Brock and like what we've talked about now since basically the last off season when we found out he was coming back home and he's going to be running. And I set my over under at 8 wins. It was probably way aggressive, but this is the potential that I know that is there. And maybe it just took a little bit of time, and he's had a lot of good runs this year. But man, this had to be just like we finally did it moment. So Jimmy, welcome back.
I'm back.
You had this look of like I thought you were reading a comment and you froze like this.
No, I
thought you were reading a comment, and I was like, "Oh no! Oh wait, he's."
I'm glad the
gone.
stream didn't go down. Usually, if it's the host, it goes out. But it didn't end. So
I was
that's
a
good.
little worried. Yeah, I was a little worried about that. So I was just kind of talking about Brock in that last few laps there, and taking advantage of PPM, doing PPM things and screwing it up. So no, I'm just kidding, kind of. But yeah, what was your takeaway from this?
Man, I was jacked up. I do not think Brock did a good job getting around Chase Dietz, and then yellow came out immediately. That put Brock in that position to have that kind of late race restart where PPM, he ran the top the entire time, led the way, and wasn't really ever challenged until Brock got there, really. And I think that's why it came out of nowhere for him. Obviously bummed a little bit for PPM just because you don't want to, it sucks for a guy to go and lead every lap except the last one. But good on Brock Zierfoss. He really needed that one. He's had some really good, strong runs, and he just played this one right. Your heat race winners from this one, were Mike Wagner, Chase Dietz, Danny Dietrich, and your hard charger plus 10 up to 8th. From 18th to 8th was Justin Whittle on this one. But yeah, I thought it was a great Labor Day Classic. I liked the way they did the format. It was still a pretty sunny day. It wasn't as hot as Labor Days, a couple Labor Days that have been recently where it's like 95, 100 degrees in the pits of hell. But it was still warm enough. It was still in the 80s. So I thought they did a good job with running the entire 410 program first. And this paid more. This was the
Paxton, right?
The Paxton, thank you. That got rescheduled to Labor Day. So this was an upped purse. So it was good to see some good cars come out and support this event. It's awesome. I like, obviously it's not ideal with the way track surfaces and tires are, but I think it's a nice little one-off, cool little thing in the middle of the week of Fair Week. I just think it's a great time. We all had a great time there in turn 2. Watching they ran the 4 cylinders after the 410 feature, and the track was nice, blown out for them. And they put on a pretty good show. Even the POS car. So it was a good time. I love this event, even though it might not put on what people would say is the best racing. It's still just it's a fun time and a great event. Justin Whittle says he had to do a motor swap after hot laps on Monday, so that's not something you want to hear. That's a bummer, but did a great job coming back up through the field and finishing in the top 10 and helped out his points bid, which we're gonna talk about here in a second. Bill says, how about the guy who finished 18th? Mike Walter. How about him? Not Mike Walter, the old man Mike Walter in the 33. The Hurricane Mike Walter. How about it? Awesome run for him. This is the second year in a row now I think he's run this race. It's cool to see both of them out there and see him out there and just get, this is probably the only race he runs all year now, you know what I mean? So it was pretty awesome to see him out there, not only in this feature, but run 18th. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was very cool, and seemed to get up to speed a little bit more as he went there. So that one race a year thing, that's got to be difficult. And he's not a young fella anymore, and This is the real Hurricane, by the way.
Yeah.
And not that other one. The real Hurricane, Mike Walter. So very cool.
Let's move on to the opening night, Thursday night, at Port Royal. The first night of the Tusky 50 high limit event, where Anthony Macri got the win over Justin Whittle, Brenham Crouch, Danny Dietrich, Rico Abreu, Ryan Smith, Ashton Torgerson, Trey Starks, who was in the 14, Cy Lynch, Brad Sweet. Your top 10. Your heat race winners were Justin Whittle, Danny Sams, Brenham Crouch, and Danny Dietrich. Your quick time was Macri, and your hard charger was Logan Wagner, who went plus 10 spots from 26th to 16th. I was not there for this one. I was at the Eagles game, go Birds. But caught some of this a little bit here and there, and just Anthony Macri doing Anthony Macri things. Great run for Justin Whittle. He had a nice last. Was it Thursday that he had the last lap pass in the heat over Brad Sweet for the win, and then just looked good all night long. But Anthony Macri, when he's on point, it's hard to beat him there at Port Royal.
Yeah, and this was fun. I was going to talk about Justin there in the heat race. He was exciting in that, and he originally got the jump on the start. Brad got by him, tracked him back down. Pretty aggressive move to take the heat race win to set him up for a 5th place start. And he was driving aggressive. Got up there to Brenham, got by him. The top started going away at the end a little bit, and Brenham was like right there. And that was the other person I wanted to mention was Brenham Crouch, man. What a weekend he had. Really, honestly, these first 2 nights, I know the third night they had some issues and didn't go the way they wanted, but 2 out of 3 nights, man, he looked fast from the jump all night long, which I'm sure is, a shot in the arm for that team. They've had a lot of ups and downs this year. So, but Macri, Whittle, and who you don't see on this list here, I don't see Logan Wagner. Where did he finish in this one?
He finished.
There he is.
Yeah, he was
16th, right?
Yeah,
so we're keeping out on the points battle between Whittle and Wagner. I think this one still counted for full points, right? Thursday and Friday, I believe. So,
yes.
Toward the championship. So just something to note there. And yeah, Macri did his job. And I think everybody that wins this Thursday race is like certainly happy to win it, but they're all like, all right, that was test night 1. Right, like that was test night 1. It's not, and it's really not to take away from like, oh, he wasn't like super excited, but yeah, they're excited. But a guy like Macri who's been there a few times, looking forward to Saturday, right? Let's get tuned in. Let's get it ready for Saturday. Let's get it going.
Shout out to Port for getting this in. The weather. I didn't honestly think they were gonna run because all week it looked like it was pretty iffy weather, and I kind of figured there's one night that they're going to pull the plug. It was going to be this night, and they didn't, and they ended up having a great race, a great field, and it was a good, nice little starter. They got all 5 nights in this whole throughout the fair week, which is not something that we could say happens all the time, to be honest. You know what I mean? With the way weather is, so awesome for them to get this one in. Brian Brown made the trip out. He went quick time and hot laps and then scratched for the rest of the week because he just didn't feel like he was comfortable in the car. He was fully healthy to be able to run, but it was a hell of a thing to come out in hot laps, set the quickest time in a hell of a field and be like, yeah, I still can't do it. Sucks to make that tow all the way out. But maybe I don't know what his plans are. Hopefully in the next couple weeks he could still get better and maybe come back for Natty Open or whatever. But it was pretty cool to see him back, but it sucked that he had to scratch.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, not great. I know Reitzel, he made all the nights, and we'll talk about him in a minute. He's still pretty uncomfortable in that car, and looks pretty uncomfortable outside the car, to be very frank with you. So tough deal, but you don't know until you get there. There were some I talked to one of the crew members a little bit about like kind of his journey and where he's at health wise, and I'm amazed he made the trip based on what I heard. So yeah. I can't even believe he made the trip based on what some of the doctor's reports were very recently. And x-rays and whatever else, but hey, he tried to give it a shot. And I broke my wrists at the same time, long time ago. And I was like recovered and good, and it still hurt to drive a regular ass passenger car. Like the first time. And I was like, this sucks. This is painful at 20 miles an hour. can't imagine a freaking sprint car. So
Absolutely not.
definitely tried, but I don't blame him at all. If he didn't feel comfortable and feel like he could wheel that thing properly, don't put himself and other cars at risk, right? Of going to the corner, not being able to hold on to the car, and you ruin yourself and someone else's night, potentially hurt somebody and yourself further. So kudos for him for trying, but also having the wherewithal to say, hey, no, I'm not ready. So
Yeah, absolutely. That can't be an easy thing to do, to be like, you made that whole trip, you go out, you run hot laps, and it's like, can't do it. That has to be a hard decision to make for sure. And so shout out for him on making that decision, and making the trip as well. So let's go into the night before the 50, Friday night, where Aaron Reitzel gets the win over Anthony Macri, Brett Marks, Ryan Smith, Parker Price Miller, Giovanni Scelzi, Rico Aber, Brenham Crouch, Troy Wagaman, and Brad Sweet. Your heat race winners were Scelzi, Macri, Sweet, and Parker Price Miller. Your quick time was Aaron Reitzel. And then Troy Wagaman, hard charger, plus 13 from 22nd to 9th, which ended up being a theme also in the Saturday night, which we'll get to. But, talking about banged up drivers, here's Aaron Reitzel getting out on crutches, winning a race here at Port Royal, his first races back behind the wheel since he broke his ankle.
Foot, ankle,
foot. Yeah, basically the whole thing.
This was he dominated this one, kind of like Macri the night before. He kind of dominated this thing, and and I think he was counting the laps there at the end. He wasn't as aggressive on the wall, and Macri kind of put it back up on the wall. Was kind of running him down a little bit, and there was a lot in this race, and there's a lot to talk about. I think Brent Marks had the best car in the middle of the race, and got to second. Was side by side for second with PPM going down into 3, and PPM took the air off the car. He slipped the racetrack and lost multiple spots. Fought back to third. It kind of evened out at that point. I think Brent was the fastest car in the middle of that race there, as they got the lap traffic, and really they were right on Reitzel, to be honest. But Reitzel did his job. Macri P2, Brent Marks there. A couple things here to note. Brenham Crouch, another top 10 we just talked about.
Yep.
Ryan Newton, 12th, made this feature. As you scroll down the results, and we didn't look at the first race there, Matt Campbell. Made the first night. Matt Campbell made the second night. Now, a lot to learn in these A mains. And
first night, he finished 20th, yes.
Yeah, he was at the end there, right? So, timed well. The first night, time trial draw, timed really well. Did his job in the heat, made it in. Second night, he had to go past some cars from his heat race time trial draw. Like, he had to go, get it. He passed, 4 cars in 1 and 2 in the first lap to get into a transfer spot. Just making into the A there and a lot of stuff. But he hadn't ran a race there, I think he told me, since, 2018 or something at all. Hadn't even been to the racetrack to watch a race in a few years. Not even in attendance, right? Because he's at Lincoln. He's doing other things. So shout out to the X team. That was pretty cool to see them get in there. And, this one, Brenham Crouch being up there, and Troy Wagaman. So if Troy at any of the 3 nights had a good time trial draw, now I think the first night he had a decent one, but this was not a great time trial draw. Did what he could with what he had, went up here past a ton of cars. For whatever reason, what they got rolling in that car fits at Port Royal, and he got a win earlier this year, 22nd to 9th here, and we're going to see that theme here in a couple minutes. I felt like as I was standing 1 and 2 and doing the photography thing, but I saw it wasn't keeping up, but I kept looking at Troy going, he's passing another really good car. He's got to be near the front here.
Yeah.
Where are we at in this rundown? I'm like, holy shit. I knew he ran the B, right? He finished second in the B, I think. And holy shit, look who he's passing. Look who's going by. Justin Peck, Tanner Thorson, Brad Sweet. Holy crap. Just rolling. So super happy with that result. And there was a lot to take away from this thing. Is Aaron Reitzel is really good at Port Royal. Number one.
Yeah. Yep.
Not even at full strength. He's really good at Port Royal.
Even with everything and limited amount of starts, obviously, that he's had, he's still got 2 wins there this year, and he's a Tusky 50 winner in the past. He won the Weikert. He's been really, really good there now for years, and even with being banged up, still went out and took care of business. And it was kind of funny because Gets out of the car, everybody boos him. He goes, how low do you have to be to boo a cripple? Which, hey, I don't mind. Give it right back to the crowd. But we're still going to boo you. Don't worry. We're still going to boo you, Aaron.
Yeah, nothing changes.
Nothing changes. You don't get any sympathy.
So I was for the dash draw in this one. I was kind of standing with Brent Marks and I think Cy Lynch were standing there talking, and Aaron Reitzel went up there to do his dash draw, and the fan choice question of the night was best fair food you ever had.
Yeah.
And Reitzel answered the question, and I kind of looked over to those guys and I said, if he wanted to be full villain and played the part correctly, he would say that the PA fair food sucks. Like,
yeah, something like that.
I play into it, my guy. Like I was like, yeah, we're booing you. I don't care if you have one healthy leg or 2 or 3 or 7. I don't give a shit. You're getting booed in PA, my guy.
Yeah.
Like, you think we're gonna feel bad for you? No.
Yeah.
Like, kudos to you for being a tough guy, and I appreciate that as a competitor. But you're still gonna get booed, dude. Like, did you really think we were gonna be?
You really think we're gonna be like, oh yeah, good job?
Really?
No.
Yeah. Oh, look at you. Good job on 1 foot. No, but get out of here, bro. You're gonna get booed.
That being said, being neutral here, trying to be neutral here, hell of a performance. I can't
100%.
Can't knock it.
100%. Did his job. Did his job. That car's fast. Can't take that away.
Rico Abreu was also impressive here. He went from 18th to 7th, another hard charging type of guy. He really kind of had a weird weekend. He wasn't really ever, for a guy who's pretty good at Port Royal, he was fast. He's doing Rico things, but he was never really a factor. And we're going to look at that here in the 50 too. But he was kind of one of my disappointments for the week, where I really thought he'd be up there battling at least 1 or 2 nights for the win. Maybe, 50 format's a little bit different and everything, don't get me wrong, so you could kind of get caught out. But, he was really a guy that I really expected to be more of a factor. And, good hard charging performance here, but just a very odd weekend from him.
Yeah, no doubt. Agreed. And I guess you'll have that. You'll have that.
You'll have that. You have that in big time auto racing. Let's get to the 50. Go ahead.
Well, do we talk about the 305 race first? Just briefly.
Sure, yeah.
So go down to the results here. Your winner and Port Royal track champion.
Oh, yeah. If I can get here.
Okay, so they also closed out.
That was
on Thursday night. That's right.
Thursday night, but this was Lane Snook, who I know you wanted to talk about as well, getting the win here in the limited late model division, and also I'm pretty sure becoming the track champion here at Port Royal.
It's track champion. So let's talk about Lane Snook here real quick. And if you've been in Central PA and you're a diehard fan, you know who Lane Snook is right now, especially this year. But I was staying in Victory Lane, and Derek Kreiner works with Addicted to Dirt, and he's a photographer, does some writing. He had some stats on his phone. He's been following Lane a lot this year, and he's been up at Port Royal a lot. This was Lane's 17th win of the season.
That's
17 in 36 races.
That's insane.
He's winning at almost a 50% clip. And I think his worst finish was a DNF when he blew up. In his super, not even in a limited. He's won at 9 different racetracks. He's won at Path Valley. He's won at Port Royal. He's won everywhere. This kid has won 17 A mains. He's 17 years old.
That's insane.
Like 358, like limited lates. Steph, what's the difference in a super late model? Just like 410s. It's a small block and a big block, basically. Limiteds are 358 late models, tip at 358s. Mm-hmm. Supers are like 462s or something. They have a lot more of an open engine roll, so it's not like necessarily cubic inch limited. I want to say a late model person can correct me on that, but it's
I believe
small
the chassis
block and big block essentially.
Yeah, chassis are the same, just kind of like how a sprint car would be. Some minor differences, but basically it comes down to the engine.
100%. But yeah, I want to talk about Lane Snook there, track champion, got pretty choked up in Victory Lane. Talking about the family and the championship, but wow, what a young phenom this kid could be, and hopefully the future is bright. Hopefully he can continue to get funding to continue to move in his career, and there's a lot of people watching in the racing world.
There's a
So
lot of good late model talent in this area. I think probably better than it. You got young guys, but then you still have your Eckerts, and obviously you have Satterley who runs here around all the time. But then you have guys like Lane Snook and who's the 19 that we saw a lot. Oh my God, I can't believe I just blanked on his name.
Dylan Stake?
Thank you, Dylan Stake. He's been good. A lot of others, you know what I mean? And just, maybe it's just because I go to port a little more often and stuff like that, but I really feel like it's a very good, obviously these are limited late models, but some of these guys kind of run both or end up moving up, and I think the late model scene in PA is getting pretty strong with talent and car counts. So, yeah, awesome for Lane Snook. Let's go back to the 305s on Thursday then. Because I know you want to talk about that as well, and I forgot about that. There was a fight in the pits after. Nick Swikert, Kenny Hefner. Nick Swikert getting the win. Kenny Hefner here going from 10th to 2nd. Them getting into a little bit of a altercation here.
yeah, there's we don't talk about 305s a lot, but it's time to talk 305s a little bit here. So this division is getting out of hand really quick.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gone downhill from like an altercation / fighting / off track kind of bullshit lately, like really quickly here the last couple months, I think.
Yeah,
And it
wasn't like this in the beginning of the season. It didn't feel that way.
I don't feel like it's been this way previous seasons, and I think we've been on the fringe. Know some of these guys. I know Kenny Hefner, Dustin Young. We know our buddy Tyler Schell. There's more than a few people that we kind of chat with. So the deal here is, Kenny Hefner got to Nick Swigert, slid and went by him off of 2, and Swigert, instead of turning down to cross over or drive around the top, what it looks like is he just drove into Kenny's rear bumper, sent Kenny down across the track and almost into the inside wall, takes the lead and ends up winning the race. Nick Swigert pulls into victory lane, starts to do his wing dance. Kenny Hefner is already out of his car and going, boo, right in the direction of the winner, just booing him, and the crowd's booing. That was going on. At the same time, the third place driver, Josh Spicer, I heard him get out of his car and he's talking I don't even know the words exactly how it was put, but something about a crew member being pushed or hit or something. And I'm going, out here, there's nothing. I don't know what's going on. Well, I get to the pits, and then I start getting this holy shit, what just happened in the pits? The 71 crew of Spicer and the 5 crew of Logan Spar apparently had a massive fight in the pits. From what I've gathered, it was very one-sided. The 5 team beat the hell out of some guy on the 71's team in the middle of pit lane. A lot of the 410, there were some 410 teams and people got involved to try to break it up. They ended up getting swung at, and they're hitting people and suplexing them in trailers, and apparently it was fucking chaos. Straight up chaos. Not good. Police came in and somebody wanted to press charges and
maybe,
not
is
good.
That why the state police was thrown through the campground? Maybe
that was way after. I don't know, but I'm not sure. But this is not a good, right? It's 305s. You're racing for $300 to win. Number one.
Sorry to interrupt, but to do that at Port Royal, at a place that runs 305s a lot, that's a place where they get 50, 55 cars almost every time. Obviously, it wasn't this because it was invite only, but a place that's been so welcome and opening to this 305 division, very supportive of it. And 305 division's been supportive of Port Royal as well, don't get me wrong, but it's just, man, that's bad because I know Port's not going to take fighting in the pits very lightly either.
Yeah, and listen, I know we've had Logan Spar on the show, and I like Logan. From all the things that I ended up gathering afterward, this is a bad look for that 5 team all the way around. All I heard by the time I got there was them trying to backtrack and make excuses as to try to get themselves out of the situation and say we got instigated. Someone that came to us and they started it. When from all accounts of people that are not included, involved in the situation, said absolutely not. The 5 team was the bad guys here in a sense, and went after apparently the 71 driver Spicer's dad. 70 years old, like 70-year-old guy. So like pretty ugly situation, to be honest with you. And I'm just, this is all just what I got from third parties that were not involved in like taking sides, just trying to like break the damn thing up. It was ugly, and it's kind of gross, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like fights can happen, but
If
this
it-
has been a
all fights should
recurring
be-
theme lately.
Yeah. All fights should be
Yeah,
between
like
the drivers on the front stretch.
the drivers. At the end of the day, just the drivers. Not even like the driver's dad, who's 70 years old. Like, come on, man. Like, if your dad wants to inject himself in the situation, which he shouldn't be, great. Get your ass beat because of it. Sure. This doesn't even sound like that was the case. So, not a good look all the way around. And then I hear that this is Friday, right? This was the Thursday show. Thursday.
Yeah, Friday or Saturday at Path
Thursday.
Valley. Then
Saturday night at Path Valley, lap 1, 305A main. Sounds like two drivers just absolutely down into turn 1 or down into turn 3 on the first lap. One just cleans the other one out. The one who gets wrecked is end up throwing rocks at other people in the pit area, or the car, the driver, the something. Like, okay, you're gonna fight over you. And then I see on social media, right, the guy that did the cleaning out, they went and just wrecked the other guy, said, oh, this wouldn't happen if he didn't jump the start. Like, what? Wait, whoa, slow down. Hold on. You went and cleaned the guy out because he jumped the start on you. Like, come on. Like the people that are on the fringe involved with the teams that are like, oh, it's your fault because you jumped the start. That's why he went and crashed you in turn 1 and wrecked your race car. Okay. All right. Number 1. So it's crazy. But anyway, so this is now, it's 2 and 3 nights, right? And, and then people go on and they talk about, the amount of money that is spent, and this is a recurring theme with certain drivers. And it's just getting to a point where, and I don't know what PASS is doing behind the scenes. I don't know, but they got to get it under control. If they have to prove a point, whether that's tracks do it or PASS does it. But it sounds like from people, again, just comments, PASS hasn't really done shit about it. And I don't know that. Again, not fact. I don't know. I'm not involved. But I hope that they do to get this under control, because it's going to be a problem, like in a big way soon, whether it's for PASS or whatever. And it's already a bad look for a series that's awesome. Like, it is a great series, and there's a lot of good talent, and they're like, they race close. They have hard racing, and yes, it's been a long season. You could, tempers flare, but we got to get some shit under control. That's just my take on it.
And just me hearing from I've heard from people just in stands and passing and talking over the past few months. It's like I've heard people say, "I love Port Royal, but I won't go there when they have the 305s. There's too many of them, and they wreck each other all the time." And I think the opposite. I think sometimes they put on fantastic racing. But you're right. I think it's gotten out of hand this year, and something needs to change. Obviously, you can't have this type of stuff,
For sure. And I did get a private message that, there sounds like there may have been some suspensions handed out from the Port Royal incident already. But I mean,
can imagine.
We're at the end of the season. I mean, I hope so. I mean, honestly, something needs to be done. And if PASS makes it known to all the teams, that's fine. They don't have to do it on like social media. They don't have to go like public. But the teams got to know that there's repercussions for your actions in the series, because you can't have this shit happening. If you're going to do it on the front stretch with the other driver, find your time, figure out how to do it, take your consequences. But these two scenarios just can't be happening.
Billy said what I said before. All fights should be on the front stretch. Let's go down, Billy.
Again, I'm sure they listen. I think in this series, most of this series would do it if they had the chance. But
absolutely,
in both scenarios, I
fully think Kenny Hefner was fully ready to. He was doing the boo and everything, but if it came down to it,
so mad. And I don't blame him. Right, drove through the field, drove past some really good cars, got the lead, and felt like he had it taken from him on something that was pretty dirty. I didn't go back and watch this replay of it, and I really do need to go back and watch it because I said I would. Shame on me for not doing it before tonight. But if it went down the way he said it was, not great on Swigert, to be honest with you. In a 305 race, not great, but going for the win, and I think that's where it could maybe that over that line we talked about with Lincoln, right? Going for the win. What's fair and foul?
Right. Yeah.
What's fair and foul? I don't know. I guess that's up to us to determine. But if a driver feels like it was
And-
foul, then they were done. You know.
And I think it does because I remember I think it was actually Billy who we were talking about this with. It's kind of like unless you're in the driver's seat, there's so much other stuff that goes on between you and another driver, either during a race or during a night or throughout an entire season. That little things that you maybe don't know, that something that might look insignificant to us might set the driver off in the car because it might just be that straw that broke the camel's back. And yeah, what fair and foul to us might look different.
100%. So, again, that was a lot of 305s that we don't spend a ton of time on, but man, just not a great weekend. Not a good look for the series overall. So,
No.
I will give a quick shout out. Aaron Statler in this race was battling for the lead for a hot minute. Was battling for the lead, started third, ended up seventh here. I think car went away at the end, but Aaron Statler was being aggressive and was sliding Nick for the lead at one point. Almost got the lead too. So shout out to Aaron Statler for a heck of a run there.
It's a little microcosm of what the 305 division's diverse. It puts on really good racing. The cars are close together. You would hate to see stuff like what you're talking about kind of take away from that.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, let's get back to the 50. Saturday night. Ryan Timms, man. This guy wins Knoxville for his first World of Outlaw race, and then his first high limit race is the Tuscarora 50, all in the same year, all at 19 years old. This kid's an alien. Wins the Tusky 50 over Justin Peck, who led a lot of this race and looked really, really good. Aaron Reitzel third, Parker Price Miller, Troy Wagaman Jr. 21st to 5th plus 16. Again, back-to-back hard chargers. Logan Wagner, Danny Teacher, Chase Dietz, Brett Marks, and Ryan Smith round out your top 10. This is a pretty good 50. Thought the track was pretty racy. The fast guys were up on the top. There were times where I thought Ryan Timms seen Macri do this a lot, where he gets stuck in the wall, but is able to still keep speed somehow. It's unreal. I thought there was a couple times where he was going to just step too far over the edge. We've seen it with guys that run the top, cut a tire, or just get into the wall and drive up it or whatever. And he got into it a little bit a couple times, but man, did he take care of business through lap traffic. He once he got into the lead. Justin Peck, he deserves a huge amount of credit for how good he looked on Saturday night. I was personally pulling for him. In terms of the guys that were running up front. But man, Ryan Timms, what are we seeing with this kid?
I don't know. And no one really saw Knoxville. He was my dark horse, not a favorite. He raced that race like he was a favorite. He's good at Knoxville. He may never lose again at Huset's the way it looks ever in the history of his life. I didn't see this coming. I mean, I watched him the first two nights and he could definitely rip the fence and it was okay, but I did not see this coming. Holy shit. And I'll be honest with you, there's a few things here. Number one, I hated that we had to have the fuel stop because the race was at its best right then.
Yes,
but
it
we
was.
have to.
Yeah,
I
think
we're never. It's the 50's not going to ever. To me, should never not be 50 laps. We have to have it. But I know that I don't know when was the stop right at 25.
Yes,
because they mentioned it could be around 25.
Yeah, they've tried that before.
Let this go to 28 or 29. Let this play out a little because those three were under a blanket for the lead.
It felt like
it was just getting really good.
There's a couple guys that felt like when it got to about, lap 17, 18, it felt like a shift. A little bit more like the first 15 or so laps were kind of, all right, some guys made some moves, some guys didn't. It right about 5, 6, 7 laps right before that halfway stop, I felt a change where you've seen some guys really start making some moves, and it got a little more aggressive right there towards the halfway mark.
Yeah, and I think track position, I think these guys said, hey, I got a little bit left. If I get another spot or two that makes it to, this end run, I'm going to get adjustments. We're going to have fuel. We're going to make a run in this last 25. So, we've seen that in the past kind of where it's like, okay.
You're kind of managing. You're managing
a little bit, right. So, which we don't have a lot of. But, man, I was so disappointed at that stop. Like, I knew it was coming. I knew we were close.
Yeah, we all knew.
I was like, man, it's going to kill this race. And it kind of did,
Mhm.
but not in the way we probably all thought. I don't think, 7-second win for Ryan Timms. Nobody saw coming.
Nobody saw that. No.
Nobody. And man, he kept running the top and running the top and running the top. And I'm like, you got to run out of tire, right? Or he's going to run out of luck. And you're
Mhm.
like,
I
son
really
of a bitch.
just thought
And just
it just takes one time to step over the edge when you're running the top like that at Port Royal, and I really thought there's a couple times I thought he did it in turn 2, and he didn't. He kept it going somehow. He saved it.
just an unbelievable performance all the way around. And man, you got. We shouldn't have been surprised, but we all are. I think who was it? Was it Chase Rodman or someone else someone wrote on the X this is a bigger surprise than him winning Knoxville Nationals.
It is because he was running so well at Knoxville. He was a Knoxville regular, and a lot of people were kind of putting him in that favor. That's why I kind of put him as a bust for Knoxville, was because so many people were putting him in his favorite category. I'm like, man, I just don't think so yet. I was so wrong. And then him coming here, he hasn't really. He's shown decent speed at Port Royal, but he doesn't have a ton of laps there. Not like he does Knoxville. Again, didn't see this coming.
Unbelievable. So Billy blamed us. He's blaming T2T back here. He's blaming us, the podcast. Is this for 305 fights? Because
this is. He said didn't have these debate years ago. Shit happened, and you moved on to the next race. But it's our fault because this stuff stays going on. Is kind of what he's saying.
Look, Billy, nobody talked about racing. We wouldn't have racing, right?
No.
Listen, this guy says the guy who has a podcast that talks about racing, or a YouTube channel. This guy. Love you, Billy, man. Hey, I hope you're doing all right, by the way. I hope to see you back out. Hopefully you're back out soon, by the way.
Yes.
Unbelievable race. Good for Justin Peck, but he kind of talked about it, man. He was like, this sucks. I hate it, but I didn't have the car. I didn't have what Ryan had, and I don't know what else I needed, because that was wild. He was just dumbfounded a little bit. If I lost this on a late slider, I might be madder, but I didn't have anything for him. He was just gone, just absolutely gone. Couldn't see him anymore. Right, 7 seconds. He's not even on the same straightaway anymore. Justin might have thought at times he was leading because he didn't know who the leader was or where he went. So I don't know, but. Is the story of the night, though, after that, is it Troy Wagaman?
Yes, absolutely. I was just about to say that. I think that was more of a story. I think if there's a late race caution with about 7 to go, he's a guy that you have to watch for, because, man, he was right on Aaron Reitzel and PPM at one point. They kind of got, once they got more towards lap traffic, he kind of fell back a little bit. But I think if he took a shot a couple times, and man, if there was a caution late in the race, we might have seen another Macri, because Macri went from 20, I think it was 21st before, to win this 50. It was 20th or 22nd or 21st. It was around there. Troy, but he was doing this pretty much on the bottom, just kind of blowing past cars and making quick work of them, and it was a hell of an impressive run. Obviously, he had a great run on Friday night. And the crappy thing for Troy was he did time pretty decent. I think he timed 6th or 7th in his flight, but because of the invert, he fell back in his heat. He was battling Reitzel in his heat, and then he got passed by somebody else and ended up finishing 4th. But he did time. Thank you, Justin. It was 19th from Macri to the win.
19 stuck in my brain, but I wasn't going to say because I wasn't sure.
I couldn't remember.
19. That's right.
But Troy was kind of set up to start further up. Kind of fell back in his heat. Made up for it though with a really, really impressive run here. Back-to-back nights, but especially in the 50 with a car that has limited. We keep talking about they have limited laps, and they do because they are more of a Lincoln car, but. Shit, I mean, it doesn't look like it. And he has a win there, and they just look super comfortable there.
In the campground after this one, I kind of said, "Hey, are you at 10 features at Port yet?" And he said, "I'm close to 10, 10 total races ever, right?" So, Has a win, right? Kind of like the Ryan Tim story. Ryan would even has even less experience, which makes that even wilder. But like Troy's at maybe 10 A mains now this year, or in his career at Port Royal. But listen, the only reason he got hard charger is because Brent Marks started like he
He
started
started
where
18th. He
+9.
started
He started
18th.
18th, but he had a
Mm.
flat tire and went to the back on like lap 4, and he
Yeah,
went from the
he
back up to ninth. And I don't know how he didn't have any. I don't know how he had any tire left because he was absolutely just at 106% effort the entire 50 laps on the top, like just absolutely ripping across. If he actually started 18th and didn't have that happen, I wonder.
yeah,
Same
he
thing.
might be probably right up there,
He's
probably third, fourth,
right up
fifth at
there in that
least.
top 5 area and the late caution. Who knows what happens? And um, this was a fun race. I mean, it's hard to ever say it was a fun race with Ryan Timms with a 7-second win, but the story's awesome.
Yeah.
Watching Wagaman, Peck at the beginning of that race was running really, really hard. Watching Brent come back through the field, some of the battles through the field when some sliders and some of the racing was just really, really good.
It
And
was, yep.
what a great 50, super cool. And I want to show this. This was I don't save armbands and credentials unless it's like a lanyard with a cool thing on it. But I'm saving the armband
Yeah.
from
I
this
love
year.
that they
That is
did that. That
freaking
was pretty
cool.
cool. Yeah.
Very cool, Port Royal. Like it's the tiniest little dumbest thing,
But
but
it does.
even
It
for me who goes
elevates
to
it.
like
It elevates
yeah,
it.
go to 50 races a year, and I don't save these armbands. Like I don't need the paper collection because
Mhm.
most of them don't make sense. But I'm keeping this one. So super.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome, man. The entire event, obviously, you have fair and everything that's going on, turkey dinners, and church stand, and all the vibes around it. And, I camped there for the entire week. The only days I weren't there was Thursday, Friday, and Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But man, it's the campground's great environment. Just the whole thing around it. It's just, we have a great time with or without the racing. You know what I mean? And, but man, they put on a hell of a show on the track all week long. On top of all that, it just made for one of the best Tusky 50s in the past few years, for sure. I mean, obviously last year you had, the track kind of went away and it rubbered down and everything. But I think just all around, this was just a great event from top to bottom, and they do a fantastic job. And I was glad to see that they had good weather to be able to get all these in, and good weather for the 50 as well.
So that infield was as full as I've ever seen it, by the way.
Oh
And
yeah, true.
so I wanted to bring this up, and the reason I'm saying that is to say this: the Tuscarora 50. We were having this debate. I think I saw in a Discord that we have a bunch
Yep.
of our racing buddies, iRacing buddies. You guys were having the debate. I caught up on it, I think later today, about crown jewels in that term. And people throw it around a lot, and people typically throw around the term whenever a race comes out and throws out huge amounts of money. Crown jewel gets tossed out, and they're typically not. And I agree with most people when say that they're just not. They're not a crown jewel until something special happens, right? The Eldora, the Kings Royal, Knoxville, the National Open. People keep trying to argue the National Open out of being a crown
Yeah,
jewel. You don't
it
really
still
lose
is.
that. You don't lose it until it goes away.
Mm-hmm.
It still is. Weichert, the money, the trophy, the crowd, it's getting close.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to tell you something. Tuscarora 50 paid 58 grand, less than the Weichert.
Yes.
The Tuscarora 50, between the fair, it's a special draw scenery, right? We've all known that forever. But the Tuscarora 50, the absolute massive amount of the massive amount of fans and people and the crowd and the vibes, I got to tell you, and
Second to none.
we are obviously a little bit biased, but it's reaching that territory for me. It really is. And it doesn't need to be an outlaw race. And I know most of the ones we talk about are outlaw races
It's
because that's
true.
what we've had.
Yeah.
Okay. So why can't this be? Typically these races, Knoxville, it's the middle of the year. It's the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame, the Kings Royal with the king and the fan, the whole deal, right? The show. why can't the Tuscarora 50 be in that conversation? And based on what I saw, the racing, the draw on the cars, the amount of freaking fans, the fair around it, for me, for this guy sitting here, it's entering that territory for me to have that conversation and start being like, hey, this is on the map nationally. And it is nationally.
Yes,
I don't
it
care
is.
that the other series is out on the West Coast. I don't even know who won all weekend. I have no idea. None.
Yeah, I
Zero.
don't. I don't even have it queued up. I have no clue. I did not pay attention to the Outlaws at all.
Nothing. Right. Nothing against them or tuning in.
Yeah,
or watching
yeah.
it, but I was solely living in the moment of the 3 days and what the Port Royal had going on between the fair and the food and the event and the people. Man, it's in that territory for me.
I agree. It's absolutely the crown jewel event of the High Limit Series. I don't think anybody could argue otherwise. It's that, you know, Outlaws have those other three technically, you know what I mean, and those other three are definitely the national crown jewels. When you talk Triple Crown, you're talking Knoxville, you're talking Kings Row, and you're talking Natty O. Tuscarora 50 is not there yet, but it's absolutely the crown jewel event of that series. And it's top 5 race in the country. It just is. It's because of the event, like you're saying. It's just everything that they put together for it, the hype around it, the names it draws, just everything about it. And yeah, it really. I agree. I'm 100% with you on this. It's fantastic, and yeah, and it's crazy because this is a well-paying race. It was $2,000 to start. 58 to win, and it's kind of funny because when they bumped this up to over $50,000 to win years ago, it was like that's when it took Tuscarora 50 to another level. Now 58,000 seems like it's like mid-pack when it comes in the big races, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, at least naturally, which is great. That shows how much money's starting to come back a little bit, little by little. Back into sprint car racing, because the National Open is paying more this year and all that. There's a lot of races paying over $100,000, including Weikert did this year. It's not even the biggest paying race it's not always about the money that makes the crown jewel event. Is kind of what I'm trying to get around at, and it's about everything like you're saying, the entire event around it, what makes it special. There's so many things that makes this special. Absolutely.
And listen, it is hard not to be biased. We're PA, we're fans of it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not necessarily saying that Port needs to be on that map because we're in PA, but I was there. We felt it. We saw it. We felt the energy. We saw the amount of people. Like, if you're at home watching it, and you don't love PA and you're from outside PA, maybe you look at it and go, that was cool. That was a big crowd. That was cool. That was right. Blah, 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 blah. And yeah, I'd like to go someday. But when you're there and what I felt this weekend, man, it's hard to say it shouldn't be on the map on that conversation. So I don't know who. Listen, I don't know who says it is or isn't. I don't know if there's a committee for that or like, But at the end of the day, I know what we felt when we were in that place. And even on Thursday night when Whitall passed Sweet, you could hear the crowd over the cars going by, right? Like when and it wasn't even a full crowd.
No, it didn't.
It's just
compared to the rest of the week, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, just super cool. And I wanted to at least talk about that. So man, what a great event. It was fun. It's a great time.
Tyler Murray, event was so popular it broke vote. It did, actually. I mean, they had problems all night. They streamed the whole thing ended up being for free on YouTube. I think pretty much the entire night.
Really?
By the time they ended up getting it back up, it was like right before the feature, and they're like, we're just gonna let it ride on YouTube as well. Matt Miller, PA Triple Crown was Tusky 50 Dirt Class and National Open. What the hell is Lincoln getting worse? Terrible. I mean, I think they're trying some different things. But now the PA Triple Crown is Weikert 50 and National Open. I can agree with that. I think those are probably your 3 biggest ones for sure. And then go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, and the icebreaker. Just
there you go.
They get the icebreaker.
I mean,
special.
That probably is the biggest one of the biggest races of the year, to be honest. At this point, Mandy, this was my argument in our Discord about why National Open is still definitely a crown jewel event, part of the Triple Crown nationally, in my eyes, and why Tusky quite isn't there yet. Knoxville and Kings Royal and even Natty Open get all the drivers from all the series and all the different guys from across the country. Want to know why? Because they're outlaw events, and High Limit doesn't have the restrictions. Outlaws are out on the West Coast now, you know what I mean? And they were competing against it, so you don't really get all that. But I will tell you this, if this wasn't a big deal, you wouldn't have Brian Brown with maybe half a wrist out of both of his two coming out just to try to run hot laps and see if he could run for the weekend if this wasn't a big event. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't just come out and do this for any other race.
Tyler, between the World 100, Tusky 50, Flo was broke.
And World 100 too, but
nope. The late model guy chiming in, trying to get his fenders into conversation.
Hey,
nobody watching that World 100.
I will say this: the World 100, they had to stop selling tickets at the World 100, which is pretty crazy. You don't hear that with Kings Royal. We'll give them that credit. Practical Nif, Big to Difford is a big race for Highland, but you have 2 crown jewels on the West Coast, Skagit and Chico. Yeah, they're big races, but they're not to the level of Tusky. I don't.
West Coast crown jewels. I mean, they're West Coast crown jewels, but
yeah.
When I can't, as a fan of this industry, can't tell between the Silver Cup, Trophy Cup, Gold Cup, Bronze Cup, whatever cup. I don't know which is at which track and which one's doing what and when it is and who's invited and who's not and if it's sanctioned or not. It's not a crown jewel.
Yeah.
Sorry. If you're a West Coast person, that might be offensive. I don't know. I don't know. And shame on me. Maybe that's East Coast bias.
They're big races, but they're big races for sure. But I don't think the amount that High Limit pushes this as well, in a sense, just shows that I think this is their big crowning race of the year. I do. I think that. I definitely think it's the series' biggest race of the year, and obviously one of the biggest in the country. And Port Royal Speedway, best track, whatever. Let's talk about. Let's go into points, and we did wrap up the Port Royal Speedway track title, and congratulations to Justin Whittle. Took care of business the final week of the season, getting the 2025 track championship at Port Royal, 245 points over Logan Wagner. And that was Brock Zerfoss, Michael Walter, Gerard McIntyre, Jeff Halligan, Lance DeWeese, Austin Bishop, Cody Lehman, and Doug Hammaker. Your top 10 for the year. Justin Whittle, though, took care of business, the most consistent driver at the track all season long. Really looked great towards the last half of the season for sure. Also getting a win. Great run on Thursday night of the Tusky 50. Fantastic year for him. I know he's really hyped about it. You know, I saw their press release talking about, this is a goal that they set out to do, and they went and accomplished it. So, with some of the stuff that he's gone through the past 2 years with injuries and stuff like that, this is really, really awesome to see him put this all together and get it. So congratulations, Justin.
Hell yeah. Pumped up for him for sure. And I kind of hate that, it was overshadowed a little bit. Port made a post. Justin, shared it. They talked about it, but it really just kind of, for me, man, it lost a little bit of that hype it should have gotten, right, for the first one. And did he ever get a side interview for track champion? Did he get one over the weekend? I don't believe remember. So. That should have happened, right? I think that Port Royal needs to step in and crown him and make. They might have.
To be fair, they might have done that Saturday night, and I missed it. Because we're in the infield doing whatever. But I don't want to say for sure, but I know at least before that.
Yeah, Justin, if you're still here, chime in on that. And if that didn't happen, Port Royal, take note for next year, right? And I don't know if they've done it in the past. Shame on me. Yeah. So I think Port Royal at some point through that weekend, if you're crowning the champ and it's locked up Saturday night, it's not going to take away from anything freaking Tuscarora 50 related. But all the fans that are there that are from PA, that are local, that go to Port Royal, and that driver that just earned it in a season-long championship deserve to have a few minutes there. So
I think it's a perfect chance too in front of a national crowd to be like, hey, here's the talent that we're offering here on a weekly basis.
Think about this. He ran second Friday night. If he had it locked up Friday night, that would have been the perfect time after he ran second. He got an interview for second. That's the time we'll stop for a minute. Let's take a few minutes. Third place, you're just gonna have to sit and wait for a couple minutes.
I don't
right?
think he had. I don't think he had it technically locked up. I think he still had to show up, at least on Friday, in order to technically do it. So, anyway, yeah, no, I agree. I think doing something. I know they'll do something next season. They always do. Where they recognize their track champions. They do a good job with that. But I think if you knew Saturday night, I agree. I think you could try to do something there. I think that would be pretty cool.
And if they do it at the beginning of the next season, that's fine. And I think Lincoln does the same thing. They do sort of a crowning night, and that's okay. That is set aside as a longer moment, hand awards, hand a trophy, whatever. But I think if this is the end of your season too, right? It's also the end. It was their last race,
right?
It was the last weekend. They're not coming back to do it. So,
yeah. See, Justin said he had to take time on Friday in order to technically lock it up. So I could understand why they didn't do it on Thursday, because you never know what could happen. But
well, that's what I mean.
Wait,
what night did he finish second? Friday, didn't he?
Thursday.
Or Thursday. Oh, Thursday.
Yep.
I lost track.
Right? I'll double check on that one. Right? I'm pretty sure.
I think you're right. Is that the
Macri? It was right till Macri marks on Friday.
Okay, yeah, got it.
Some stats quick from Port Royal, because they put this out before High Limit came into town. I thought they put a graphic up of all the different winners, the unique drivers that finished on the podium. I don't have the podium finishers, but they had 21 races at Port with 15 different winners. Anthony Macri getting 4 wins, Dietz, Ryan Smith, and Aaron Reitzel both getting 2. Then wins by Lance DeWeese, Brock Zierfas, Dylan Sisti, Mike and Logan Wagner, Michael Walter, Brent Marks, Troy Wagaman, Justin Whittle, and Preston. Jonathan Preston also getting a win. Just a lot of parity there at Port Royal. And, some guys who could have won, you had Ryan Newton with some really strong, obviously. He was close. Blaine Heimbach was really strong at times. There's a really good group there at Port Royal that run their weekly, make it really fun, and it is pretty cool to see. It was pretty cool to see the stats like that, just the parity. 15 different winners in 21 races.
That's wild.
Let's check out the rest of the track points. Troy Wagaman, 285 points up right now, and Freddie Raymer at Williams Grove. Lance DeWeese third, Brock Zierfas fourth, and TJ Stutz fifth. And then taking a look at Lincoln, where Freddie Raymer has a 15-point lead. 1-5, over Troy Wagaman. And then it's pretty far back to Cameron Smith, Aaron Bollinger, Tyler Ross, Matt Campbell, Brandon Raymer, Chase Dietz, Chad Trout, and Danny Dietrich. 2-man race there at Lincoln. Only 3 more I guess it would be 5 more races at Williams Grove, and then about the same amount at Lincoln. Maybe 6 or 7.
Outlaws left as well.
Yes. So that Lincoln one's going to come down to the final night, the final 50. That's their championship night. So that should be fun. That'll just, these guys keep going back and forth. Pretty awesome. I don't know, Randy.
Yes, he's dating one, right?
Yes.
I don't know.
Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked here. If you there, get your justice. I got one from my
there. It is.
That's my girlfriend. Tyler Murray just brought up a good point. We bring out the points winner Saturday after the Open. So there you go. Like, it would be cool to crown them that night.
Yeah, last few years it's like they do the winner of the National Open and then they do another victory lane with the track champion afterwards. Yeah. So,
and if you already know Saturday night and you're doing driver intros, you're doing all this. You have some downtime during the 50. It would be cool to just take. I agree. Take 2-3 minutes and give a proper interview, proper congratulations, and you don't have to give them a trophy or anything yet. You know what I mean? You usually do that in the off season. You have a banquet and all that, or you do that the next season. But on national television, and to a national crowd, why not?
Yeah, and here's the other thing for Port Royal. If they're not going to do the non-qualifiers race anymore, they used to always take that extra time after the 50 and run a whole nother race and a whole nother victory lane for the non-qualifiers race. Now, if let's say it goes into Saturday and you has to go into Saturday. I think it's show up points though, right? So Saturday should be locked up. You can
I
do
don't
it
think
after
I don't
the
think
50
I
on
don't think
Saturday.
I don't think Saturday are any points. I think everything ends on Friday for Port Royal.
It ends on Friday. Okay.
Yeah.
So like they know, right? So either way, it can be done. So hopefully they look at that and take a few minutes to bring that person out on the big stage and get their moment.
Thank you, Tyler. 5 shows left at the Grove. 410 races at Lincoln. I guess I forgot that they're kind of dark for Natty Open. And then I guess, does the Outlaw race not count? I feel like they have this week, next week. They have 3 races, and then 2 after. At least. I don't know. I have to look at I'll look at their schedule here in a little bit. Points season ends on Friday. Okay. High limit. Rico Abreu on top right now with 45 points over Brad Sweet, 98 points over Brett Marks. Then it's Justin Peck and Tanner Thorson now up in the top 5. Quite a few ways back of those guys. Kind of a 3-horse race there. Rico, 9 wins this year. How about it? And 28 top 10s. Super consistent. Brad Sweet, 27 top 10s, but only 3 wins. That's kind of the difference here. Brad's been a little more consistent. He has more top 5s and everything, just hasn't been getting the wins as Rico. But that'll probably come down here to the end as well. There's only a few more weeks left in the season, and we were really starting to run out of races here, so really got to keep an eye. Oh, yeah, thank you. Next week is no 410s because Baps runs. Thank you. Thank you, Tyler and Tyler, for that. David Gravel. 176 points up on Buddy Kofoid right now. And Carson Macedo, 3rd. Logan Schuhart, 4th. And Sheldon Hanshield, which it was announced that he will not be in that 17 car next year. They will be parting ways. And from what we hear from some rumblings, keep an eye out on social medias and stuff because there'll be some announcements made concerning Donnie Schatz for next year. Maybe where Sheldon's going to go. Some of these open rides, some of these, the silly season stuff. There's going to be some announcements made here in the coming days. Should be interesting to see. But David Gravel, in terms of points, running away. Not really running away, but Buddy's actually kind of keeping him honest, but in command there. 53 top 10s out of 54 starts for David Gravel. That's still insane to be looking at those stats. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule now, especially this weekend. Williamsgrove, next 3 events. They have the Billy Kimball Memorial this Friday with 410 and 358 sprints. $20 to get in, starting at 7:30. Then the following Friday will be the Kevin Gobrecht Challenge, 410 and 358 sprints. And if I'm correct, that Saturday, the winner of that is locked into Saturday's race at BAPS, I believe, which is also the Gobrecht at BAPS. And then the last World of Outlaw tune-up on the 26th, 410 and 358 sprints. But the Kimball this Friday at Williamsgrove. I know that's a special race for a lot of people. Always a fun one. Definitely get out and check that out. Saturday at Lincoln, the Weldon Stoner Memorial, $10,000 to win at Lincoln. Only show in town. Get there if you can. 358 sprints also. Their final summer series race, I believe, $2,069 to win. There is a fan zone for this one from 3:30 to 4:30, so get in there. Get in there in the pits. See your favorite driver. Go check everything out. It's awesome when they do these fan zones. Really, really good event. Pits open at 2, so everybody could get in early. Time trials are at $6, $30 to get in. And then we have Selinsgrove Speedway this weekend. They have a 2-night show. Saturday is the Super Late Model National Open. This was rescheduled from the Sandhill Thrill. This moved to Saturday. $10,000 to win, $800 to start. And actually, I know Bert and them have been putting together more. They've been getting donations to add an extra $26 to every single position for the super late models. They are mostly full. I think there are some spots left. So if anybody wants to sponsor a spot for the extra $26, I think reach out to them. And then Sunday, look at this payout. I mean, Jim Nace Memorial, 410. The Selinsgrove National Open, almost a $50,000 to win purse. 15,626 to win. 5,000 for second. $800 to start. And like I said, this one is all full. This one in like an hour and a half. They got many more donations from. There's a lot more money on top of this that's been added since they made this graphic. It's at least $826 to start. And there's a lot more contingency stuff. A lot of sponsors coming in to help out this event. Really, really hope, one, that weather is good. It is looking that way. And two, that we get a good car count. At least a full field would be nice here at Selinsgrove. They're really putting up a lot of money. A lot of great businesses coming together to help make this happen for Selinsgrove. Good 2-day show. I'm excited for it. I know I'll be there. And I don't know if Ryan Timms is going to be in town. As far as I know, he's going to Lernerville, which we'll talk about in a second, for High Limit. But they're off on Sunday, and technically Ryan Timms is locked in since he won the Tusky. So I don't know if that means Ryan Timms shows up or not. But just a great paying race. A great paying weekend all around for two really good divisions at Selinsgrove on top of two great races at Grove and Lincoln. But I'm super excited for Selinsgrove here on Sunday.
A lot of money this weekend. I mean, there's a lot of money to be made, and most of our guys are home. I don't know how many are going to go to Lernerville instead of being at home here. That'll be interesting to see who decides to. Well, the Dietrichs, the Macris. I didn't look at anyone's schedule, but I would be curious how many scoot out to Lernerville for the weekend and then hopefully come back for Sunday. We'll see. We shall see.
Or run the Grove, Lincoln, and do a typical 3-day weekend here just in Central PA. Run Grove, Lincoln, and Selinsgrove. I hope that is the case. I think Selinsgrove will get a full field as long as the weather is good. I believe hot laps start at 5:30, so they'll do a good job of trying to keep that race moving. They've been doing a great job every time I've been there of just keeping. I got to say, I'm impressed with how well they run their event, just from timing, but then also how they're on track. Their officials, their push trucks, their safety crew, they're very, very efficient. So 23 will be there on Sunday, it sounds like, so that's good. We'll see. Like I said, High Limit's going to be at Lernerville Friday and Saturday for the Commonwealth Clash. I think it's $30,000 to win. This used to be a $50,000 to win show on Saturday, but it's $30,000 to win. And then High Limit goes to Lawrenceburg on Wednesday. And then they have 4 Crown Nationals next weekend. But Lernerville this week, they're still in the area. They're still kind of around this area because then after 4 Crown, they come back. They go to Bridgeport, Path Valley here right before National Open. So High Limit's still going to be around. Maybe you have to drive a couple extra hours. But if you want to go check them out, they will be at Lernerville. And then World of Outlaws, they're way on the West Coast. They'll be at Kern on Friday and then Paris on Saturday. Then next week, back-to-back nights at Thunderbolt. So that's really it. Looking forward to some really good racing here this weekend. I'm going to check the weather right now. I'm pretty sure the weather looks pretty decent.
I checked it out. The weather this weekend, right as of now, looks really, really good. So looks like there's some rain at least at my house on Monday, but the rest of the weekend looks pretty good so far, which means Sunday it'll rain, of course.
Yeah.
So
I have 0% chance of rain until Friday, but then it only goes up to 4%, and then it looks really good. So I'm loving this weather right now. It's not too hot. I know it's not great to be dry, but it's good for racing, that's for sure. I'm very excited. And I'll definitely be at Grove on Sunday Selinsgrove myself on Sunday. I'm going to see if I can try to maybe get to either Williamsgrove or Lincoln. Probably Williamsgrove maybe on Friday. We'll see.
The way this lays out, it looks like a triple header again this weekend. My wife's going to kill me. Because it's the Kimmel. I think I missed it last year. Which I hated. I'd like to go support that race for Jordan and Dakota and their team, the 2D. He always runs the Billy Kimmel scheme. So really want to be there for that one if I can to help support those guys. And, Saturday is the Sterner. I love that race. Always have. I got to be there for that, right? I don't have to make a
Mhm.
decision this week between Port and Lincoln, which is fantastic.
Yep.
And I haven't got to Selinsgrove yet. I went up one day and they canceled as I pulled the parking lot because of the mist. So hate that I haven't been up there yet. I'm running out of chances real darn quick. So,
Hmm.
man, busy weekend ahead yet again. So, when I said it's starting to slow down, I guess it really hasn't started to slow down yet, has it? So,
But I mean, when you think about it, we only have a handful of weekends of this yet left, and
yeah.
you don't know what weather's going to do. So take advantage of it while you can. To be honest, you know what I mean. And yeah, and support your tracks here. You know what I mean. It's with no Port. I think we were talking about this a little bit earlier. I think Port runs a good season, and it opens up some opportunities here for Selinsgrove, for Lincoln, for some of these other tracks to be able to kind of do some different things here after Labor Day. I love this part of the season because I feel like like you're saying, you don't have to choose. Everybody's going to go to one's place, and I think that's when things strive, to be honest. And if you have good weather, these will be great events.
And these tracks really need to like pump up their promotion, social media. They need to step up their games right now, right? Because there's no shared Friday nights and really no shared Saturday nights for the most part locally. And then BAPS kicks in here. BAPS kicks in. They got quite a few races left, and
Yes, they do.
the tracks really need to take advantage. I know it's tough this time of the year with Penn State and with high school football and those things. I know it's tough, but the drivers are here. The drivers that pull the drivers that we want, pull the fans are home, really need to make sure they keep the word out of like, hey, well, here's what's going on. Here's where you can, see your drivers and get in touch with these drivers that are willing to talk and say, hey, they're coming, right? Promote that. It's the drivers that pull the fans, not always the events. So let's make sure that BAPS always does a great job with that. Who's going to be there in a pre-register type thing where they give out the awards contests for tires and things. So keep up the good work, tracks. Keep up the good work. It's Philly stands up.
Yeah, I think it, and like I said, I think if the weather is nice, I think these tracks will reap the benefits here of that. Let's get to drink it or dump it. Some people are already putting it in there. I'm going to go first. I really want to drink it to our whole crew that was at Port Royal this week. We had such a good time. The group keeps getting bigger and bigger in turn 2. If you were around us and we were annoying, I'm sorry, but we were just having too much fun. But I think everybody, we met a lot of different people, talked to a lot of different people. Everybody was having a great time around us. Everybody from the campground to our group in turn 2, that's one of the best weeks I've had in a long, long time. Not just in racing, just in general. For me personally, that was much needed. So, appreciate everybody. Just love it, and really really excited for what National Open's going to be, because I know a lot of same people are coming back, and yeah. So, and I have nothing to dump it to. It was all fantastic.
We don't. We always try to pick something different, and we try to prepare ahead, like what we're gonna do. But I'm with you, Jimmy. Drink it to all of the T2T family.
Yeah.
Like actually drink
cheers.
it. That's good. Little chocolate orange whiskey in the wild. T2T family. I tried to hang out as much as I could at the track. Said I was going to. It was so damn crowded. I left anyway and went back to doing photography. But got to hang out with everybody and back at the campground a little bit. Definitely got to be in the infield with the crew, and we met some other fans that were right down the line from us that were not with our group. And the one guy was like, "Oh wait, I know those guys. Like I know those guys." So, thank you all so much for the support. It's been really cool, and people that I didn't even realize watched the show or like, hey, really, love watching. And I don't know if we don't get good stats on who watches and how many, but I feel like there's more watching than we get record or credit for, in a sense.
I agree.
So,
yep.
And listen, I like the tracks, and I know I'm a little bit more opinionated than Jimmy on here, and even Chris when he's here. He was supposed to be here, by the way. Is he dead?
Yeah, I don't know. He hasn't responded. R.I.P. Chris. I don't know.
He said, "I'll be there." Well, it's an hour and 50
Yeah.
minutes in. I appreciate the tracks, and I try not to go too far on criticism of tracks and criticism of drivers, and try to just from a fan's perspective that way. And I don't ever want to get too far in. I think to it that I become biased, good or bad, toward any one entity.
Mhm.
So I appreciate the tracks and them having an open mind necessarily if we do walk that line of criticism but we're always trying to support getting fans at the racetrack, no matter if it's
Yeah.
been a good night or a bad night, right? I think that's what we do and we stay true to that. So shout out to everybody that supports what we do here and enjoys talking racing with us because we love it. Dump it, just Mike Wagner. For that, I think that was I will do it for that one. Looks like he's home now. Looks like he maybe spent the night in the hospital. Looks like he's home, concussion symptoms, the hard wreck type stuff. So hopefully he's on the mend and back at it and doing what he loves so much. And the word I got was he was already figuring out what car and what they were going to do to logistically get to Lernerville this weekend for Logan. So he's a racer's racer and he's a tough dude. So I'm sure he'll bounce back from it. So
that was a tough wreck. That was a scary one. That thing was it was twisted too. If you've seen some pictures on the internet, man, that thing was rough.
Yep. And I should have wrote this down. Santos brought it up. Freddie and Aaron, their newborn baby. Congratulations. There's going to be another Raymer baby coming soon. Brandon and Becca are expecting here in a little bit, a couple months. I want to say she's getting there too. So, but yeah, congratulations to Freddie and Aaron on their little one. And I realized that's why Freddie wasn't in Fort this weekend. So
yeah.
That makes sense, right? He usually is at least for the last night, sometimes maybe the last two, depending on how it goes. But congratulations to them.
Let's get to you guys. Drink it to dump it. Matt Bird. Drink it to Ryan Timms for being the third driver to win the Knoxville National Tusky 50 in the same year. The T2T family. I had so much fun over the weekend. Dump it to No More Port. I guess if there's one thing to dump it to too, it's that. I'm as much as I'm FTO, sometimes I do miss the Outlaw race at Port Royal. That weekend was always fun. But it is what it is. Randy Kopp, drink it to Troy Wagaman for passing all those cars in those two races. Dump it to Mike Wagner's bad wreck. Yeah, Troy. Man, what a beast. Marie, drink it to Freddie Raymer's new baby girl. Dump it to Brownie having to pull out. I will also cheers Brownie for making the trip and making the effort as well, like I did before. I mean, that's awesome. Drink it to AmpAsetups.com. Steph, drink it to Awesome Racing this weekend with the 3 winners. Double drink it to Whittle for the track championship at Port. Drink it to Ricky Thornton Jr. for winning his first World 100 at Eldora. Drink it to Flying Ryan Timms for winning the Knoxville and Tusky 50 this year. Dump it to all the wrecks the past 2 weekends. Hope drivers recover and heal quickly. And dump it to not making it to Port for the 50. We missed you, Steph. You would have had a great time. We had a great time on Monday and everything too, and just awesome. But Alex Robinson, drink it to great season. Dump it to be the last weekend and Bobby Elliott's wreck. Yeah, Bobby Elliott had a pretty wicked run. Hopefully he's doing okay. Magby, drink it to the T2T family. Dump it to Mike Wagner's after his crash and a speedy recovery. And then Mandy. Mandy said it was going to be a long one. Always is.
A personal record.
Personal record. I don't know if this is, though. This is up there, though. Drink it. All the winners that weren't Reitzel. Tim, Zierfos, Dietz, everyone else. The fair, Tusky week in general, turkey dinner, and lemonade peach is the best flavor, by the way. There. Hanging out with T2T gang and having fun and doing the jello shots. Listen, my girlfriend made 220 something jello shots. There are none left. There's 4 left in bottom of one cooler. Clean them all out. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Kim, for making the Jello shot, and Mrs. Tenorelli for the cooking over the weekend.
Yes.
Took care of all of us fat guys. Did some great cooking. So shout out to the T2T ladies.
Yes.
Around us for keeping us together.
Yeah, for sure.
And Kim bit me in my calf, and I got bitten. I was bitten by a feral Kim.
She was also doing a lot of vlogging, and she's been going through all the videos, and we're gonna put together a video of all the shenanigans from the crew throughout the week. She did a good job with a lot of filming. Actually got a lot of really cool clips, funny stuff. So keep an eye out on that. We'll have that in the future. Continuing on with Mandy's Drink It. All the new merch I bought, Ryan Tim's, hoodie, Brady Bacon, Wine Me, Dime Me, 69 Me short, etc. Freddie Raymer's Baby, Dump It to Reitzel winning a prelim night. The Bad Rex, Connor Morell, Bobby Elliott, and Mike Wagner. My bank account and credit card balances. The POS car bumper. That was from the 4-cylinder. My drink leaking Saturday before I got into the track. Traffic leaving Saturday. Brian Brown scratching because of his injured hands and wrists. That is probably a personal record for you, Mandy. But all very valid. I agree on all those. Amp A, what's going on, man? DJ Amp A was killing it on Saturday night after the race.
Oh, yeah. You stuck me in for an extra 45 minutes. I got home at 2 a.m.
Practical Nymph, drink it to the track crew at the 50. Beautiful track prep. Dump it to the field for letting Tim spank them for the 50 laps. Something we didn't talk about. Maybe we'll talk about this later. We don't have to talk about it right now. It's 3 years in a row that the posse didn't defend home turf for the 50. We've been struggling at Port Royal a little bit as posse when they come into town. So what's going on there?
Yeah, that parity across the season doesn't have to extend into Tusky 50 weekend, fellas. Let's get it together.
Did we talk about that dude that freaked out on me, Ryan Smith, when Macri broke yet? No, we didn't. They hashed that out. There was a little misunderstanding. All I know is Macri fans are extremely passionate. We didn't talk about that. Macri broke in the 50. He was up there, but he had to pull off. I think they had a motor issue. Things got a little tense. We'll just say that. Justice for Ryan Smith assaulted. Santos, drink it for Ryan Timms, Troy Wagaman for an awesome weekend, and Freddie and Aaron for having their baby. Dump it to some of the questionable calls from High Limit. Definitely need to be better. Honorable mention to you guys, as always, for awesome shows week in and week out. Shout out to you, Santos. I saw you when we were packing up on Sunday morning. I know you guys were camping. I hope you had a great time all week as well. Let's see who else. Dakota Coon. Drink it to the T2T party section. Dump it to Papa Griff for causing the earthquake on the 50.
There were when I was as that was going on, I was looking around us, and there was people within anybody who could see or hear was laughing at him and us in general, having the greatest time ever. Like a random people, like usually you kind of look at people doing like shenanigans and being drunk assholes, and you're kind of like, oh, that's awkward. People were laughing with us, laughing at him. They were half the turn 2 area laughing at him. It was fantastic.
And it was caught on video. It'll be out. Don't worry. That footage is going to hit the internet soon. Tyler Koenig, drink at the Kyle Spence for winning the 600 feature at Lanco on Saturday. He was on the fence and dumped to the rain out Grandview on Saturday. I appreciate being different. I appreciate that, Tyler. Michaela, drink it to Kim for over 200 Jello shots and dump it to Perigo for making me sick on the rides. Brett Perigo, man, he loves the rides at Tusky. Rode the bull multiple times. We also have that on video. He's a gem.
What a gem. Did we get
Brett is one of the most fun people to hang around when at Tusky.
Love Brett Perigo. Did we get a picture with the blankie and the straw hat on his head sleeping?
Yeah, I think I have it
nap,
somewhere.
and this guy was out for 10 minutes. We covered him up, put hats on him. I mean, we dressed him up, and he just woke up like he never. Good to
We're
go.
yelling.
Hey.
We're yelling, "Hey, hot laps in 5 minutes," and he still wouldn't wake up. So, just goes to show you that drivers don't listen when track officials are trying to get you out to the track. Amber, drink it to wieners, dump it to Kim getting pissed about wieners. That was good. Prayers for Steve O'Neill, hoping all gets better soon for him. We heard about that on Saturday night. Seriously, hope everything's okay there. Not sure exactly what it is, but keep your prayers up for him. And I think we got through them all. Thanks again, everybody. Actually, not as long as I thought we were going to be, but there was a lot to catch up on. I thought we kept it moving pretty good. But again, awesome week, everyone. We'll be at the track this weekend. Looking forward to Natty Open. That stuff's going to start coming together more and more. It's the next real big event for us. Yeah. Any last words?
That's it. See you all at the racetrack, hopefully.
See you at the racetrack, guys.